Another short one today. I spend a lot of time, and Isaac, you know this, but I spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to motivate myself. And I do wonder if I'm always going to have this problem, or if one day we have it figured out. Um, but I'm thinking about because right now at this time, and I don't know if I'll remember this in the future, but if I'm watching this back, in case I have forgotten, this is around the time I got my first speeding ticket because I was going 54 and a 30, which 54 and a 35, which isn't even like the fastest I've gone on that road. So I definitely deserved it, is for sure. But I've been kind of paying attention to how I've been driving since then, and as expected, I don't speed, and I make more of an effort to not speed. Now that I've actually experienced the consequences of speeding, or I guess more specifically, getting caught. Um, and it's interesting because now that my brain understands that if you get caught speeding, you are going to have to deal with paying a pretty large amount of money, at least for me, like 200 something dollars, which is not a little amount of money for me right now. And I'm taking a defensive driving course in order to make it less, and that's like 6 hours of my time watching a pretty old and no less valuable, sure, but definitely boring set of videos and just reading. And what's so annoying, and I get why they do it, but it's so annoying that because I'm a pretty fast reader. I have a pretty I comprehend when I read pretty quickly, and I read and I get to the bottom and it won't let me go to the next page until I'm I have to be on a given page for the given amount of time, and I can't move on even if I finish early. So it's making the whole thing a little more frustrating. And so because of all of this, as a consequence of me speeding, I'm not speeding as much anymore. Also, watching the videos is making clear to me that speeding is not as harmless as I had kind of convinced myself it was. Um, a lot of damage can be done. I put myself and a lot of other people on the road at risk by speeding, and it's an irresponsible way to go about driving. Just because sure, it's fun, but it's there's a reason they tell you not to do it, and it definitely helps that I'm learning more, hearing more of the statistics, and they make some pretty scary videos about it, about people who lose family members because of people like me who don't see it as a big a deal, but it is irresponsible and it's inconsiderate. So I am trying not to do it as much, but I notice all these things and I start trying to figure out how can I replicate this same feeling, because I'm not really it's not like I want to speed and then suddenly I remember, oh, I shouldn't speed because I'll get punished and because it's irresponsible. It's just starting to happen now where I just don't feel a need to speed. I no longer feel that desire to do it. And the question is, how can I replicate that in other areas of my life? How can I get myself to not want to stay up too late? Because right now I have a serious problem staying up too late, not going to sleep until 2 or 3 in the morning. And it's summer, but it's an irresponsible way to spend my nights. Because I don't get any work done during that time, and it's throwing off my circadian rhythm, and it's messing with my recovery from the gym. It's I end up with less energy throughout the next day. Even if I get the right number of hours of sleep, I still have less energy than if I just went to sleep at the same time and woke up at the same time every day. I'm not doing that. It's very irregular, and it's irresponsible, and I experience those consequences, those natural consequences that come from, just going to sleep when I feel like it. I'm staring at a computer screen all night, and it's still, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how can I replicate this subconscious shift that makes me just not feel a need to do that. and I have no idea. I'm aware there's two sides to it. There's like like there's punishment and there's reward, and the speeding ticket thing is a punishment thing. But it's also like, do I really want to reward myself for something as basic as going to bed on time? Like it feels like I'm making an excuse almost. It's hard for me to gauge how serious of a question this even is for me, right? Because using the sleep example, yeah, it's like I should just go to sleep. I shouldn't need to come up with a system or some like reward or punishment or something that will encourage me to do it. I should just do it. I should just want to do it. And I worry that I'm using this idea that I need some sort of external system to provide motivation as an excuse to not just do it. Just go to sleep on time. Just deal with it and experience the positive effects that come from getting a full, consistent amount of sleep every night. I don't know. But yeah, today's a slower day. I kind of want to talk about K-pop Demon Hunters, but that's a movie I think I might want to watch again before I talk about it in detail. Because there's some pretty good points to it, but there's also I have some critiques about the quality of the writing, and I know I'm not the only one, but it's interesting because it's a movie that I critiqued the writing, the quality of the writing pretty heavily for that movie, but the experience that it gives is very enjoyable. Maybe not very enjoyable, and that's an opinion thing. That's an opinionated thing, and I'm not as attached to this opinion as it might be to other opinions, But if I do talk in detail about K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm going to want to give it a little more of a fair go. But I think I'd rather talk about something like Arcane. Is it too late to talk about Arcane? I feel like people far more qualified or far more insightful than me have talked about Arcane already. Like people have picked that show apart like to nothing. And it definitely that makes it sound like a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that a show like that, the depth of it is being recognized and analyzed. And, like Arcane is the reason that I attribute to it the reason that I enjoy analyzing like shows and movies and stuff. It's not even really Arcane. It's watching other people analyze Arcane and showing me just how complex the writing was in season 1 of Arcane that made me appreciate and want to see more of that. Season 2 of Arcane is a different story that I will go as long as I can without talking about for fear of offending people who genuinely enjoyed it. But to put it simply, I did not like season 2 of Arcane. And I will just as quickly talk about how much I love season 1 of Arcane as I would talk about how much I hated is maybe a strong word, but I was deeply disappointed by season 2 of Arcane. And it was only made worse because of how incredible Arcane season 1 was. I'm starting to ramble. This is going all over the place. Yeah. I think it'd be interesting though, Isaac, if when you watch this in the future, whenever you do watch this, if you made a video that wasn't in response, because I'm not going to be able to hear what you say. Doesn't really work like that, but I don't know. Might be a good exercise for you to respond to something I say here. And if you're just looking for a video idea, Today's supposed to be a rest day for me. I don't know if you're still using the system, but right now this is the time when I'm doing the rest day thing. Because it's like instead of doing like weekdays and weekends, I made Tuesdays and Saturdays the days that I kind of get off. And today's supposed to be a rest day, but I haven't done too much resting today. So it's 4 o'clock now, and I haven't really rested. But then again, I also haven't like done any work, like serious work either. So it's interesting. I guess I might just have to change my definition of what a rest day is. You know. I'm not even gonna edit this video. Isaac, you'll see me later. I won't see you. I mean, I'll see you later because I'll become you. This is a weird relationship I'm artificially creating with myself across the length of time between us. And I don't even know like how far ahead you are. You know what I mean? Because technically, like, me tomorrow is in the future. We both know I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to like 5-10 years from now us. This is confusing and weird. I'm hungry. Okay. Bye.